you made your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. Changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Nothing to do this week? Don't miss another event. Go to blacksinsanantonio.com for our event calendar. The home of the largest business directory in San Antonio with an African American focus. Sign up today for our weekly e-blast and text message alerts. Help us make this a better community. Connect, empower, grow.
Because it matters to you, it matters to us. It is Black Video News with your host, Keith Scott. Black Friday Live, San Antonio. Here we go.
I want to thank you all for tuning in to Black Friday Live. I'm your host, Keith Scott. Now it's election time. I got some really unique guests on this week's episode of Black Friday Live. And starting out, he was a justice in the Fourth Court of Appeal right here in San Antonio, Texas. Mr. Jason Pulliam, how we doing?
I'm doing great, Keith. It's been a long time. I'm happy to be here.
Man, it's been a while since you've been on the network, man. You've been busy. I know you've been busy.
But back on the campaign trail this time. But I want folks to know a little bit about me, my background.
Please do. Tell my viewers, they don't get reacquainted with you.
Absolutely. I'm Jason Pulliam, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. First in my family to go to college and graduate from college. Have a political science degree from Brooklyn College. Graduated with honors. Went on to earn a master's degree from Brooklyn College as well. And that's when I turned to Texas. I came down to the Texas Southern University's Thurgood Marshall School of Law, earned my Juris Doctorate, my law degree from that school, graduated with honors, and then I joined the military after that, served 4 years as a United States Marine Corps JAG lawyer, and then after my tour of duty, I came back to Texas, been practicing law, both civil and criminal, until I became a trial judge in 2010, and then I was appointed by former Governor Perry to the Fourth Court of Appeals in 2015.
Yeah, Fourth Court of Appeal, but man, you were a Marine too.
Yes, sir. I was proud to serve at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. Handled cases as a criminal defense lawyer, and in 2002, I was the recipient of the Defense Counsel of the Year award, given each year to the top-rated criminal defense lawyers. So I was proud to serve our country. I'm still proud today. I serve our state as a DPS Public Safety Commissioner as well. Yeah.
Appreciate your service, Jason.
Thank you.
Let's go right into the election right now. It's election time. Mm-hmm. What's going on? Tell us about you and the ballot. Tell my viewers a little bit about this ballot that you're on.
Sure. So the Fourth Court of Appeals covers 32 counties. Bexar County.
32 counties in Texas.
That is correct.
That's a lot of territory.
Right. And just so folks get a good appreciation for the size of this district, it is the same size as the state of Pennsylvania. It goes all the way from San Antonio to Laredo in the south and covers all of the hill country almost out to El Paso in the west.
That's a lot of ground.
It's a lot of territory, a lot of counties, but we do a good job. There are 5 seats up on the Fourth Court this time, and I'm seeking one of those seats.
Seeking one of those seats.
Correct.
I know you've been all over, and tell us a little bit about this campaign trail and some of your endeavors, because I know you're all over trying to reach people in all these different counties. How's it going?
I think it's going great. I mean, I've had a chance to go to Guadalupe County, Kerr County, Gillespie County, which is Fredericksburg, great people out there. do some great shopping out that way as well. But folks have been very receptive to me. They remember me when I served on the court from 2015 to 2016. They recognize the name. They know my record on the fourth court, and they're eager for me to get back on this court as well.
Yeah, so tell my viewers a little bit, because there's somebody out there that doesn't know what the fourth court of appeal is, what he does.
Yeah.
What the judge does
absolutely.
and the job description. Come tell us a little bit about, the description with the fourth court appeal.
After you have a trial in a trial court with a judge and jury, after that case has been resolved, if one of the two parties or both parties have some disagreement with the result in the case, they have a right to appeal that case, whether it's a criminal case or a civil case, and the fourth court of appeals has to hear that case if it's in any one of those 32 counties.
Okay.
And so why the fourth court of appeals is so important is, for the most part, it is the last stop for every civil and criminal appeal. Most cases will not make it to the Texas Supreme Court if it's a civil case, or the Court of Criminal Appeals if it's a criminal case.
Okay.
So it's vitally important you have the right people on that court to make the right decisions, because it may be the very last stop.
Okay, so let's talk about the right people. What's going to make the difference with you being in there in the fourth court of appeal?
So my record for your viewers, for cases that have made it to the Texas Supreme Court, when I was on there were 5 cases. I wrote 2 majority opinions that got appealed to the Texas Supreme Court, and then I had 3 dissenting opinions that were also considered by the Texas Supreme Court. On all 5 cases, the Texas Supreme Court agreed with my opinion in each one of those cases. So they can trust when they put me on that bench, I know what I'm doing. I will reach the right legal result in each and every case.
Okay. Now, I got to ask you, because we got the mayor coming up right after you, but tell us how important, from your perspective, Justice, how important is this election, Jason? I mean, just overall, not just from the state level, the county, but just the importance all over national.
I think this is a critical election, and I'm going to encourage your listeners to get to the polls and vote. Make sure that you are informed. Most of the candidates either have Facebook pages or websites that you can go to find out more about them, their qualifications, their positions, their records, and then you can make an informed choice and go to the polls. Specifically for the fourth court, because there are 5 seats up, Keith, this is going to determine for the next 6 years the makeup of this court.
Okay.
So it's critically important that they make a decision on each and every individual on the ballot for these 5 positions on the fourth court of appeals. And then we have local judicial races as well, and voters need to acquaint themselves with those folks also.
Okay. So now's your time. I want to thank you for stopping by and telling my viewers and getting them reacquainted with you, Jason, because it's been a while. It's been a couple of years since we've had a conversation. But tell my viewers before we sign off here on Black Friday Live and take a break, go to my next guest, why they should vote for you. I'm going to give you that opportunity to tell my viewers and ask them for their vote.
Well, thank you, Keith, and thank you all for tuning in today on Black Video News. Again, my name is Jason Pulliam. I'm asking for your consideration and your vote this cycle because I'm the most qualified person for the position I am seeking. I have been a trial judge. I have presided over more than 100 cases as a trial judge in both civil and criminal cases. That's why I was appointed by former Governor Rick Perry to serve on the Fourth Court of Appeals. I have a clear and consistent track record of following the law. And in this race, this cycle, I've been endorsed by the San Antonio Express News, the San Antonio Police Officers Association, and the Bexar County Adult Probation Officers Association as well. So I think with that backing, folks can trust that I'm the right candidate for this seat.
Well, Jason Pulliam, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
It's election time. Make sure you get out there, exercise your right to vote. We're coming right back here on Black Friday Live with our mayor right here in San Antonio. So stay logged on for more right here at Black Friday Live.
Hello, I'm Tony Hendricks, Chief Operating Officer at Lewis Funeral Home. Lewis Funeral Home has been serving San Antonio and surrounding areas for over 100 years. Lewis Funeral Home's ultimate goal is to help those families in their time of need. If your family is ever in need, please feel free to call us at Lewis Funeral Home, 210-227-7281, or check us out on our website at lewisfuneralhome.com.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Nothing to do this week? Don't miss another event. Go to blacksinsanantonio.com for our event calendar. The home of the largest business directory in San Antonio with an African American focus. Sign up today for our weekly e-blast and text message alerts. Help us make this a better community. Connect, empower, grow.
I want to thank you all for tuning in to Black Friday Live. I'm your host, Keith Scott. You know where we come with hot topic, subject matter, always with a special guest. Now, I got a real unique special guest today right here on Black Friday Live. He is our mayor of San Antonio. He's taking out a few minutes to come right here on the set and let us know what's going on with the mayor's office. Mayor Nirenberg, how we doing, Mayor?
I'm doing great, Keith. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, sir.
Great to see you too.
How's everything? I know it's a unique time, not just here in San Antonio, but all over the country with election time. How's everything going in the mayor's office, man?
It's going great. You know, out in the community right now, we're seeing an overwhelming show at the polls. You know, people are coming out to vote for their future. And in the mayor's office and out throughout the city, we've had an incredible amount of momentum. Lots of new businesses that are growing in San Antonio that are choosing to relocate to San Antonio, and small businesses that are finally getting some momentum to grow jobs. We just had a huge announcement with the new UTSA downtown campus coming to San Antonio just a couple of weeks ago.
I heard about that. That's going to be real unique in San Antonio.
We've got a new football league that's going to kick off in February that is choosing to have the entire league spring training come to San Antonio. So lots of good stuff happening.
Well, you know, Mayor, it seems like, you know, I've been living here close to 10 years myself. But it seems like San Antonio is really attracting all different types of demographics. When we talk about companies, when we talk about sports, all of these different things and attractions. And I know we are one of the top attraction cities in the country.
Well, we just in March had what has been called the most successful Final Four tournament in the history of the NCAA.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. It was incredible. And the NCAA just recently announced that they're going to come back in 2025 to host another Final Four. They're also going to bring the women's tournament in 2021.
Wow, interesting. That's right around the corner.
Absolutely. And we've got a huge new wave of cyber and tech jobs coming to the urban core. Right now in the mayor's office, we are working on a comprehensive housing policy to help reduce the burden of rising taxes and cost increases to make sure that everybody in San Antonio can afford a home. And we're also working on a transportation reform agenda to finally address traffic concerns that we know are coming, because San Antonio today is the fastest growing city in the entire country. 66 people per day are born or move to San Antonio, and the census says that is the fastest urban community in the entire country.
Are you serious?
People love to live here.
Well, you know, and I see it too on the highways. You can tell the construction, the old construction. We've outgrown a lot of this construction in San Antonio.
And that is true. But our traffic still isn't as bad as some of the other areas like LA or Boston or Chicago or Dallas. But what we want to do is we want to be ready for that growth. So we're working on a comprehensive multimodal transportation system that people will find on their ballots next year to help us, make sure that we don't get gripped with the kind of traffic congestion that other cities have.
Preparing for the future, huh?
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Mayor, there's a lot going on. And for my viewers out there, you've been seeing the signs all over San Antonio. You've been seeing the commercials ran on television when we talk about the Go Vote No and the 3 propositions. And I'm glad you stopped by today. Kid, let's talk about the 3 propositions, Mayor.
Yes.
Kind of educate our people from our mayor's perspective on what's going on with A, B, and C.
Yeah, and I think it's critical to understand that these 3 propositions are a fundamental change to our city's constitution.
Okay.
With all this momentum and growth that's occurring in the future, we want to make sure that people are informed about the facts and the impacts of these propositions because they will severely impact our future. There's 3 propositions that were put forward by a special interest agenda.
Right.
And the 3 propositions would fundamentally alter a few things in city government. The first one would lower, Proposition A would lower the threshold for putting any item onto the ballot to overturn a decision by the city council, whether that's a street project, a park project, cops on the street, you name it. A small group of people now could pay for petitions and put something onto the ballot for people to overturn. While that sounds like you have more voice in government, I will tell you this. By reducing the petition threshold from what it is today, which is 10% of registered voters, down to 20,000 signatures, what we're doing is enabling special interests to hire the firms that are going to deceive, that are basically forming to get petitions signed deceptively. That's exactly how this occurred. And if you think about it, what I'm proud of most, after all the things that we talked about that's going on in the city of San Antonio, what I'm most proud of is that finally in our community we have elected leaders who are working together to ensure that it doesn't matter what part of town you live on, you're going to get fair services and treatment from the city. So I'll give you an example. On the west side of town, we're putting in more bus routes, a disproportionate number of bus routes because that's what that community needs and wants and has demanded. So we're increasing bus service on the west side and on the south side. On the east side of town, where there's infrastructure disrepair for generations, we're putting a larger amount of the pie into east side infrastructure because it's been washed out or it's never been built in the first place. We're able to do that because we have 10 city council members and a mayor who all represent an equal voice at the table, and we're working together as a unit. When we lower the petition threshold to allow special interest to overturn anything that your elected officials are doing, we're taking away your voice at the table. We have equal representation, one person, one vote, because everyone has an equal place at the table. Proposition A would upset that balance.
Okay.
Proposition B.
Yeah, let's go into B, Mayor.
Proposition B would put a term limit and a salary cap on our unelected city manager. And let's be very clear, this is not going to affect the current city manager. It's only about the future. And so when you think about it, we're the fastest growing city in the United States. We want to make sure we have good quality management of your resources, your tax dollars, 2.8 billion of them.
Okay.
We've got 12,000 employees that have to deliver the services that you depend on, essential services. We want to make sure we have highly qualified people to do that, especially in a city manager's position. This proposition would make it impossible for us to compete for the best talent, locally or in the state or anywhere else. And also, it would mean that if somebody comes in and does a good job as a city manager, they're fired after 8 years. It's not a formula for continuing our progress or our success, and it's designed to get people to basically think that they're hurting the current city manager when all they're doing is actually impairing the future of our city.
Okay.
Proposition C is sort of the naked truth behind this whole thing. Proposition C would grant the fire union, Local 624, the single sole authority, the unilateral authority to end negotiations on their contract and go to third-party binding arbitration, which means that a third party would come in here to San Antonio, has no vested interest in the balance that we have to strike, the equity we have to strike in our budget or our resources, and they would do a deal for the fire union behind closed doors with what is one of the largest contracts with your money in the city. $254 million of your dollars is going to that fire union contract. And let me remind folks, for 4 years since this contract has been expired, we've been asking, begging, pleading with the fire union to come to the table to negotiate. Instead, they've been playing these political games. And in the meantime, the firefighters who actually depend on a deal and the tax-paying public has been held hostage. And so now they want a law on the books that says they never have to negotiate in the first place.
This has been a long-going process, though.
It's wrong.
It's been a long-going process.
Absolutely.
Man.
Well, and so you can see the division and the gridlock and the chaos that would be caused by these propositions. We're required by the state of Texas. The law requires us to do an independent fiscal impact analysis. We have to hire a qualified economist to tell us what this would do to our economy. And let me read you the conclusion of that report.
Yeah, please do, because you said you wanted to share that with the viewers.
This is from one of the most...
Let's go ahead and share that with the viewers.
This is one of the most respected economists in the state. His name is Dr. Steve Niven, and he had to do an independent impact analysis of what these charter propositions would do to our community. And says if these charter amendments go into effect, the city of San Antonio will be placed into an environment of policymaking and management that is uncharted. This will bring about a level of policy uncertainty during both good and bad economic times that will slow economic growth and have large economic and fiscal impacts to our community. The severe constraints the amendments will place on the city's budget will necessitate that new revenue sources be found, possibly through the increase in tax rates and/or many public services be cut. These impacts will impede economic development and impact quality of life in San Antonio. In layman's terms, that is telling you, because the financial rating agencies have told us, this will raise your taxes, cut your services, and cripple our economy. And that is an independent economist telling us that. And I mean, for the life of me, I have not heard one person tell me a reason why we should handicap our economy and our community.
Okay.
And that's what these propositions are, and that's why you have to go vote no, vote against propositions A, B, and C.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that from your perspective, Mayor. It's election time, Mayor. How important is this election, Mayor?
It's critical. It's critical because, you know, on these propositions, so all the candidates on the ballot, important positions. We have a huge Texas Senate race going on that's going to be really critical for the future of the city. We've got state representatives, we've got county officials, we've got lots of things on the ballot. But at the end of this ballot is probably the most important decision we will make for our city, because these impacts, these consequences of propositions A, B, and C will live long past any of those people on the ballot. We will have to live with these decisions, and that's why I've been working so hard to make sure people vote against propositions A, B, and C.
Well, Mayor, I want to thank you for taking the time out to come by here. I wanted you to come by here and explain it from the mayor's office, what these propositions was all about, and give us an update with what's going on in the mayor's office, and you did just that. I want to thank Mayor Nirenberg for stopping by right here at Black Video News. Mayor, it's the holiday season. Always good to see you.
You too, Keith. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. If I don't see you, happy Thanksgiving to you and the family. Our mayor right here, Mayor Nirenberg. This is Black Friday Live. I'm your host, Keith Scott. We'll see you next time right here on Black Friday Live, as always.